Hey kids, what time is it?
Hey, it's Edson with GeekTime TV. Back here with the Acolyte, episode 4. And before I get to this episode, there was something that was bothering me about episode 3, the flashback episode. I know I ran through in my last video episodes 1, 2, 3, and there was something that still was bothering me afterwards. Well, there was a lot of things that was bothering me, but this one particular thing was when after Osha escapes the room where she was locked in with the fire. She runs. She's running around trying to find her family, maybe escape, and she runs into a bunch of the women that were part of that witch's coven from with her mothers, and they're all there in one little area, all seemingly dead, and there's no signs of fighting. There's no the suffocation. Osha herself is not suffocating, so the fire hasn't gotten to that point yet. So you have really don't know how they died there. And I was thinking that maybe one possibility was that I didn't cover this, but earlier in the episode, they had this cult like chant that where they go like the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. And maybe what happened was Osha did run into what she said, oh, that's my mother, but not the other person that she considers her mother either. So maybe what they did was they picked that other one who was kind of like the de facto leader of the group, and by all the women dying, kind of like transferring all their connection to the force, or what they think is the force, the thread or whatever, transferring all their kind of like power onto her and making her that much more powerful. And maybe that's who this Sith Master is that's training Mae. I guess it's just I don't know, one possibility, or I'm not even sure if it's my pure speculation on my part. I haven't really read or seen anything like that, but it would kind of explain why they just kind of like laid down and died, because if they thought they would make one of them so powerful to then be able to get their revenge on the Jedi, which they think came and ruined their plans for the twins by taking one of them away to become a Jedi. I don't know. I guess that was I'm not even sure why I'm thinking so much about this, but it just came to me as a possible explanation why they were just laying there dead, and it might lead to one of these kind of things where this show could be set so many years before the classic Star Wars, because they kind of they kind of want to have their characters, chronologically speaking, be the first to be take over like one of the classic Star Wars scenes that, or not one, but many of the classic Star Wars scenes, they kind of like want to preempt and say, look, my characters were first to get there. Like, for example, I'll give you an example without this, is like how they're saying that the Force, by the use of the Force, or by the use of their powers, they created the twins, with where they say there was no father or whatever. Well, up until now, it was Anakin who was just the chosen one, the one person who kind of was what we think is created by the Force. So now they want to have one of their characters, or in this case, two of their characters, be that could look. Before Anakin, there was there was Osha and Mae who did this. And the reason why I'm saying this, if that one mother is the Sith Master, that later on in this show could lead to like the big revelation when the twins find out who she is, and she might, it might have this scene where she kind of like reveals herself and say, I am your mother, which of course would make this show, like with their characters, do that scene where that classic Star Wars scene where Darth Vader tells Luke, I am your father, and they want to like kind of have, chronologically speaking, their own characters usurp those type of scenes, which is kind of crazy because it's never going to happen. It's never going to be, accepted to be the same, to be considered the same as what classic Star Wars is, because it just comes across. I hope that's not what they're doing, because it just comes across as just being copycat, and you just want to kind of like preempt all the classic Star Wars stuff with their own. But anyways, like I said, spent way too much time on that. Let's get on to episode 4. The biggest disappointment I have for episode 4 is the fact that I was hoping to get a lot more of this character, Jedi Master Kilnaka, and I thought that's what this episode was going to be about, because I know it does reveal that he's one of the Jedi that's on kind of like Mae's hit list. So it's going to be, she's heading after him next to try to kill him, as per the instructions from her, or her mission from the Jedi Master. But all we see really is, we see this at the beginning. We see him. His home apparently is inside of some downed ship somewhere in the middle of the forest of this planet, and you don't really know whether how the ship got there, whose it is, because you do find out later in the episode that from the locals, when the Jedi show up, they say that he kind of wandered into the forest a long time ago and never came back. So it's like, did he just wander into the forest and just run into the ship and all of a sudden make a home out of it? It doesn't seem like it would be his ship, because then why would he wander into the forest and then find it there? And it does look like it's been there so long. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of another mystery of this show, that we don't know where did this ship come from. So anyways, it does show a really quick scene with him making a home out of this ship, and that's where he's been all this time. It is kind of curious that there's the Jedi Master just goes off alone, outside of, separate from the Order, and they kind of don't even have communication with him for so long. But maybe that's what they needed for the plot, for him to be isolated so that Mae could come after him. And like I said, it's a big disappointment, because you only see a little bit of him at the beginning, a little bit at the end, and you don't really get much insight at all into his life. So then we go back to Coruscant, and for some inexplainable reason, the Jedi there, Master Soul and the Elder Jedi there, decide basically to have a meeting about what to do next. I mean, clearly they know that Mae is going after Kilnaka to try to kill him. She's already been involved with 2 deaths of Jedi Masters. She killed Master Andorra. She was there when she got the other Jedi Master to basically commit suicide. They know that Kilnaka is next, and he's been kind of like out of communications for so long. They say they trying to reach him, they can't reach him, and yet they're sitting here in Coruscant having a meeting, just talking about what to do. Well, obviously we know what to do next. You gotta go and track down Kilnaka to warn him, or to try to protect him, or to try to help him, because Mae's already on the way there to kill him. So why we're sitting here talking about this all this time, I don't know. So then it's decided, which could have been just decided right away at the end of the last episode, is that Master Soul, he's going to lead the mission to find Kilnaka and try to stop Mae. And he takes with him, he thinks it's valuable to take, there's a bunch of Jedi that go with him that you don't know who they are. Yordo goes with him, that Jedi apprentice Jackie goes with him. And of course he decides to take Osha, because he thinks that for some reason, when in this discussion with the Jedi here, they start thinking of Mae as a victim. I know there's a quote saying like this: "Oh, that poor girl! If we only knew that she had survived this whole time." She actually started the fire, number one, and even if there was a trauma in her past, there's no excuse for like killing anyone. Even let's put aside that she's killing one of their order. More than one. She's targeting 4 people of their Jedi Order. Putting that aside, it's like you're almost like saying, oh, the trauma in her past is like makes her kind of a victim. No, it doesn't make her a victim. So they start thinking about this, and so that's why Master Soul wants to take Osha, and hoping that with her he would be able to like have Mae kind of like get, kind of stand down, and nobody gets, because he doesn't want to hurt her in any way. Well, you need to do whatever is necessary to stop her, because she's responsible for 2 deaths. She's trying to kill even more people after being responsible for 2 deaths basically. Also at this point, there's this discussion about they see kind of like a hollow of the fighting skills, Mae's fighting skills, and there's this, it's not speculation, but someone just states that's like, oh, her master's a Jedi. Just says it that way. Like there's no possibility that it could be someone that's working on the dark side of the Force or anything like that. It just said they don't mention who might be the Jedi, but they make, for some reason, they make a statement that her master must be a Jedi. So now you're wondering, like, what does that mean? Like, why do you think that? Is it because you just don't even want to think that there might be Sith out there, or there's not a possibility? I don't know. Anyway, so they decide to finally, after this long discussion, just talking back and forth, they decide to go off to the planet where Kalnaka was last seen. So, meanwhile, you have here Mae and her accomplice. I know, it goes by the name of Qimir. You don't really think, you don't really get much about him. It's just that he was that person who killed the shop owner on the last planet they were on, and made poison for her. And they're already way ahead of the Jedi. They've reached the planet where Kalnaka is. For some reason, somehow he knows that Kalnaka is there. I don't know how he knows. Not only that, he tells Mae that he's somewhere deep into this thick forest, which is so dangerous that bounty hunters won't even go into. But he knows exactly where Kalnaka is in that forest, and he will lead her to it. Totally don't get where that comes from. He comes across sometimes as like this bumbling fool or whatever, but how is it that he was able to locate Kalnaka, which the Jedi aren't even there yet, and knows exactly where to lead her to? I don't know. That kind of makes you think that he is part of this whole thing. Well, he actually says that he knows who the master is that's training Mae. So possibly he could be someone like, from the prequels, we always say we learned that the Sith always comes in twos. Possibly he could be the apprentice, the Sith apprentice to the master, and maybe they're training Mae to be another apprentice. I don't know, but he does come across as kind of like a bumbling fool at times. But then he seems to know so much at other times. So, anyways, they have this head start looking for Kalnaka, and the Jedi finally get there afterwards. And first of all, they ask the locals about Kalnaka, and they tell them, okay, he went into the middle of the forest a long time ago. He never came back. So then they have this character, this kind of like, I don't know, beaver-like character that is supposed to be a tracker. And for some inexplicable reason, they think they need this tracker, which to go find Kalnaka. While at the same time, like moments just before they have this trackers like go ahead of them, they actually bring him along from Coruscant. So I'm not sure if he's a Jedi, but he comes along just specifically to track down where Kalnaka is. But Master Soul himself, at this point, like as they're talking to the locals, he's looking out to the forest. He's like, and then he kind of points in the direction. He's like, he's there, and it's like, so you're Jedi. There's a Jedi Master there with you. You can sense where Kalnaka is. Why would you need a tracker? And like, why is this? I think it's Yord, Jedi Knight Yord. He takes out a scrap of robe that seemingly, I guess, belonged to Kalnaka. Where did that come from? If they've been out of touch with him for so long, what did they just have a scrap of his robe? Why not the whole robe? If it was, and it's like they're having this tracker, this creature smell it so they could lead him to Kalnaka. I mean, there was absolutely no reason why this character is here. The Jedi, especially a Jedi Master like Soul, should easily be able to sense Kalnaka and go right to him, which looks like basically happens. But they're also following this tracker, so I don't know. I don't know I have no idea what the point of this character was. All right, then we see Mae and Qimir are way ahead of them. There seems to be a weird time. I don't know. I don't want to say time jump, but time displacement, I guess, because Mae and Qimir get their way ahead and start running full speed to find Kalnaka, while the Jedi kind of just go at their leisurely pace, following this tracker, and yet somehow by the end they're there. They get there almost at the same time. So I don't know how that gets explained, but there's a point where they're almost there, and then they get temporarily separated, and Mae sets up this trap for Qimir so that he could step in it and be hanging from a tree by a rope. I don't know how she just comes up with this trap right away, and then all of a sudden she has a complete 180. She tells him, like, I don't want to go through with this. I don't want to kill Kelnaka. I just want to go. It seems like totally unexplainable. I just want to surrender to the Jedi. Everything's changed now that I know my sister's alive. Even though she could have done that, 2 episodes ago when Master Soul confronted her. Why couldn't she have just surrendered there? I don't know why she waited until now. So she doesn't want to do anything that this Sith Master wants anymore. She just wants to surrender to the Jedi. Doesn't want to kill Kelnaka. And he tries to tell you, well, you're gonna, how the Jedi are gonna put you in jail. You're responsible for 2 deaths already. The Jedi are gonna put you in jail. And she says something like, well, not if I tell them who I know. Well, who do you know? I mean, just earlier in the conversation, as they're walking through the forest, they both admit to each other. They both know who this Sith Master is. I guess I call him Sith Master. I don't know what to call him. They both know who it. They both know this person, but they don't know who it is. They both say, never seen their face. Each one of them says they never seen their face. So they don't know anything other than the fact that the person exists. So who is she going to tell Kelnaka and the Jedi who this person is? She has no clue who it is. So I don't get, the whole thing doesn't make any sense. Especially like the complete turnaround where she's like, oh no, I'm done. I've gone after 2 Jedi Masters, but now I'm kind of done with this. And I guess she gives up some kind of lame excuse that since this Master wants her to kill a Jedi without weapons, it's impossible, because how can you kill a Jedi without weapons when the Jedi don't fight people without weapons? It just kind of goes around in a circle, trying to come up with a good explanation of why she has this quick change of mind. But anyway, she's doesn't want to kill him anymore. So she goes looking. Qimir has said that had pretty much given her the location. Like it said, there's like 10 minutes away or something like that. And seemingly she goes in the rest of the way, even though she really doesn't know where Kelnaka is. But she goes the rest of the way to try to surrender to him before the Jedi can catch up. Meanwhile, we have the Jedi here with this tracker, quote unquote tracker, when Master Soul can know exactly where it is. And they're leisurely just walking, not running like Mae and Qimir, yet at the point where they're almost there as well. They hear Mae scream out she calls out help. It was a way to get Qimir to fall into her trap, but so she fakes this cry of help, and yet Soul just hears her as if they've caught up to her, which I don't know how. Mae and Qimir clearly have gotten there way before them. They've run right straight at where Kelnaka is, and yet the Jedi kind of just wandering around, walking, following this tracker, somehow catch up to them. I don't know. Another one of those things is like, I have no clue how that happened. So finally, everybody gets conveniently to where Kelnaka is. Mae does get there first, obviously. She goes inside the ship. We're looking for him, and she finds that he's already dead. And this is what I'm talking about. I was kind of disappointed about the fact they don't give Kelnaka too much screen time. You get a quick scene at the beginning to see where he lives, and then at the end, and he's been killed. Looks like a lightsaber wound. So seemingly, that Sith Master that's training her is here, or it could be that it's her quote unquote accomplice Qimir. Is he secretly, like we said before, an apprentice to the Master, and somehow he gets out of the trap that she laid for him and gets there first and kills Kelnaka before she has a chance to surrender to him, to warn him. I mean, he does seem to know a lot more than her in terms of knowing exactly where he is. Obviously, if he is an apprentice, he knows how to use the Force. He could get out of the trap, and that would explain how way back in episode 2, where he had taken over the local apothecary, killed this local apothecary and taken over his business, and he's just sitting there seemingly without locals noticing him. But if he's strong in the Force and he's able to kind of like confuse all the people around, use the Force to confuse all the people around them, so I guess that would explain how he got away with that. But I don't know who killed Kanaka. Don't know. Like a lot of things that we don't get out of this. Before the Jedi do show up and they know Mae's inside with Kanaka, but they call out to her to come out. But before she comes out, this looks like, I don't know if he's like the Sith Master or a Sith Apprentice. Like someone shows up in full black armor, pulls out a red lightsaber, Force pushes Osha out of the way. Then all the Jedi, seemingly so that the Jedi could have this moment where they pull out all their lightsabers. Looks like they're going to start into a fight. The Jedi come running at him. He Force pushes all of them back, and the episode basically ends at that point. So we don't know. I'm assuming at the beginning of the next episode, if they don't have another flashback episode, they're going to have the rest of this fight. But who is this person? Is it the actual master who's been training Mae all this time? How did he get there ahead? Why send Mae off to kill Kanaka if he already knew where he was? Is it Qimir who had been with her all this whole time and knew exactly where Kanaka was? Is it him? Now we see that when they're traveling through the forest, he's carrying this bag with, looks like a very bulky bag to have as you're running through a forest, and maybe he has a lightsaber in there and armor that he puts on just so that they don't know who he is. I don't know. So hopefully we will find out a couple of things. But it looked like this episode was just like, you don't really, nothing. My main issue with this episode is, one, you don't get much from the character of Kanaka, unfortunately, and the other one is you don't really get anything more than what you already knew. It's basically two groups of people just walking through the forest, wandering around looking for Kanaka, and that's the whole episode. And none of the dialogue that each party has really gives you more information than what you already knew from the first 3 episodes. So it's kind of like I don't know. You could have just done a 5 minutes of one episode to get there, and then finally get to this point. And it's like a whole episode where you get nothing. There was one point where there's like a conversation where Osha is saying that she's starting to feel the Force again, like she's been all these years without using the Force, and now she's starting to sense that she's getting more of it back, and could be something, just the start of her trying to get back to her Jedi skills so that she could either confront Mae again or join up with her to confront the Master or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but again, it does not. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave me in the comments if I'm wrong. But nothing that happens in this episode was anything more, advances the story any more than what we already knew. I mean, what was the point of trying to track down Kanaka if you're just going to get there and find him dead anyways, and you don't even know how he died? Nothing happened. There's no kind of end to either saving him or Mae actually killing him. None of that happens. So I don't know. You tell me what you think. Hopefully, episode 5 and the rest of the episodes will be a little bit better, but I'm kind of disappointed in this. But all right, that's it from now. Again, so far, there's too many contradictions, too many characters acting kind of stupidly, I guess. Too many redundant things that you keep getting told over and over again. And we'll see. All right, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching GeekTime TV. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure to check the little bell icon anytime someone from our network drops new content here. Want some Geek Time swag? Check out the merchandise available in the Geek Time TV store, linked in the channel description below. Share Geek Time TV with friends, and as always, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.